And so we were building an AI since then. And this really, again, when I say the biggest problem in business is the follow up, right? Because I had, you know, I say I'm a sales agency, but I also say sales and marketing. I say marketing agency. Everybody knows what marketing is. I come from, you know, landscaping, roofing. We were doing high ticket sales, but marketing, running ads, running leads. So in the beginning, when I started this business, it was a lot of just more the marketing side. And then you realize, and so many people have been burned by marketing agency, the leads suck, right? The leads suck. They gave me leads and the leads suck. Um, and we said, oh well, it became obvious, right? The Nobody follows up. The fortune is in the follow up, and people are just horrible at it. And it's the drop off between marketing sales. And it's like we get all these leads, good, bad, or average, hand them off, and it's a two-way street, right? Because we weren't running the whole pipeline and we weren't the ones closing. I have to do my job, but I'm not closing for you. You got to, if you're not able to close deals, if you don't call right away, people will be like, oh, yeah, we get to everybody within 24 hours, like as if that's a good thing. It's like you have to get in within 5 minutes, like hopefully the first minute every time. And then they'll say, we get to everybody within 24 hours. And it's like, but they don't really, you know what I mean? Like people might call 2 days later, maybe call once or twice. Like they'll call once, they won't answer. They'll call twice and be like, they didn't answer, the lead suck. Well, the average high ticket sale takes 8 to 12 touches to close. Full stop, right? So, um, to long way around answer your question, AI is coming there, right? In the sales management pipeline. AI, automation, human, right? Those are the three parts of the system. And we use it in the appointment setting process. So like a lead comes in, so you've got your pipeline. I can even just pull it up on my computer and but you know what I mean. You've got your pipeline.
Yep, I'm with you.
Lead comes in, new lead. They get the welcome text, they get the welcome email within the first 1 to 5 minutes. If you do phone calls, you want to call them right away as well. You can leave them a voicemail, or you could do the voicemail drop. You can automate that whole thing. A lot of businesses in the small to mid-size range don't, either have somebody answering the phone, or they're not always able to answer every call right away, or if a lead comes in, call right away. So a lot of times they rely on that. Make sure you get the text, email, phone number. They either respond or they don't. When they respond, they go here. They're either interested in setting a call, they're not, they go here. They either set an appointment or not, and they go here. And they either show up to that appointment or they don't, and we got to set them for a follow-up if it's a no-show. We demoed them, they've got a pitch, now they're here in the post-demo pipeline, and we deal with them here. And you know what I mean with you understand how it goes for you, and a lot of people do it manually. Some people might have a Salesforce or HubSpot kind of halfway set up, or a MailChimp. But that's what we dial in, right? So with those three parts of the system, for us, I say the secret is, and I heard, I'm trying to remember his name, but the sales guy, I believe it was your friend Uriah. I was watching that episode earlier. Um, and
Oh yeah, Antez Cole.
and talking about again the secret to AI is the human, right? We don't want the AI to do everything, and we want to be able to, I don't have a look
Ooh,
at
ooh,
it
say that
before you
again.
publish
Sam,
it, right?
Sam, say that
You
again. Don't go too far.
don't
Say that part
you
again.
don't you don't want the AI to do everything, right? So when we're letting people talk to people, I'm sorry, when we're letting our AI talk to people live, right? Boom, 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 boom. You already know how much work it takes for you to get your images the way that you want. So when we talk about creating content, you get to have the AI rate your article or your image and then work it out with your human ability to make it better before you
Yes.
publish it. Typically in this place, we don't have a chance to say, look at every, you know what I mean? It's like they text me, I'm texting them back. I don't have a person. The whole point is to not have a person looking at that the whole time. And so we got to make sure it doesn't answer certain questions. So the secret about our system is, of course, the humans, but 50%, 40, I'd say 40% of what happens is automation. 40%, 50% of what happens is handled by the AI. And we try to, 10 to 20% max, but like 10% human interaction, right? So that the AI can take up 90%, AI and automation can take up 90% of that manual grind the stuff that people don't want to and aren't necessarily good at anyway. And if you were, you have to just throw bodies at and just spend more, spend more, spend more. Manage
Mhm.
that system at a much higher capacity with less people. Put your best people at the far end to do what people do best: close, deal with the deals. Um, so yeah, that's where we use it. We have
Yeah.
a proprietary system. We use existing tools, right? I don't own a tech company. We're a marketing agency. We use existing tools. We use a proprietary system of Go High Level, Chat GPT, and a couple other things. The automation is everything that's scripted up front, right? So we start with a master copy document, right? Or all the campaigns per se. So when somebody texts, or I'm sorry, somebody fills out the form, they come in, they get the text and the email, those are automated welcome messages. They're already scripted. Certain amount of things are scripted throughout, oftentimes the beginning of a campaign. And then at certain points, when it's not a scripted, position within the pipeline, the AI takes over from there. If those two things happen, and the AI will kick back certain things where it's either not able to answer or we programmed it not to answer, right? Because we know about hallucinations. We know that the AI can hallucinate. The AI can be wrong. It can be incorrect. It can be offensive. It can be all various number of things. So we put things in place for that. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. That's the big place of where AI comes in with us. I definitely touch and work within AI content a bit, but I can talk about that. A lot of the content that I do and we use for ads is actually organic, real stuff like this. And of course, AI is in everything, right? So on the marketing side, again, as I was talking about the Meta ads, Instagram, Facebook, the Google ads, and their algorithms, because they have to take back demographic targeting, right? I can't target you by income and zip code, maybe zip code, but certain things anymore that they were doing. They were dang near almost digital redlining, you know what I mean? And doing all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Equal opportunity. They were
Mhm.
breaking red line stuff, equal opportunity stuff. People were hiring, fire, like because it was digital and nobody, and that's where Cambridge Analytica came in. So long story short, those algorithms are more and more being powered by AI, right? So you can turn on their AI targeting or not, or use a combination of both. We typically do use those campaigns. In Meta, it's called Advantage Plus. I think in Google, it's called Performance Max or Performance Plus. So again, that's just one of the many places that AI is in there, which just kind of naturally happen. And then we, really work it and customize it on the sales side in GHL. And it can be done anywhere, HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive. There's so many, but we
So
prefer and typically use
that's
Go High
really
Level. Yeah.
that's really good, bro. I like that. There's
Nice,
a
nice.
lot of options there. That's a lot there. Come on, you
Hmm.
Raf.
So I hear you. You pretty much giving people like the warning, like, hey, you have to make sure your AI is trained, or you might fall into one of these regulatory traps where you're gonna get fined. Where does one like even identify that? Like AI, because we always call AI like the black box. You could put stuff in it, you don't know what's happening, you just have to check what's coming out. So how does one that they say they just get into it? They're like you said, they're a realtor, they're a sales agent, they got a marketing agency, and they're newer to it. How would you like give them a like pay attention to this because they could catch you here? Like how do they identify when they're in a high risk situation?
Great question. Great question. Let me put it all together. Let me put it all together because there's a couple parts. There's a couple parts to that answer. So on the regulation side, it's just get smart, wise up, figure it out. If you're in real estate, law, or healthcare, you probably already have a grasp on your regulations. So keep that in mind when you start looking at the communication regulations. You can do pretty well of, again, with everything I'm talking about today or in any case, right? There's the DIY, do it yourself, DW, Y, done with you, and DFY, done for you. Like as our services, we do those things. So you're either gonna do it yourself or have somebody do it for you or with you, right? So, when you dive in, they do pretty good when you set up these things in whatever you're in. Go High Level, HubSpot. whatever you're in, you're gonna have to go apply for A2P 10 DLC, which is the for with the carriers, the business phone number registration for carriers. So within even just within that process in your CRM, they're going to give you some links and say, hey, here's some templates of what you got to do. Here's things you can't say. Here's words you can't say. And there'll be a couple of different of those kind of documents, which you either have it in your CRM when you start, they'll send you a link. If not, they'll reference spam can or this or that, and then just go and read a couple, you know what I mean? That would be doing it yourself as far as you can kind of go into that. Working with somebody like me, we work together and make sure everything is clean. You know, we have all of that locked in when it comes to best practices and templates, but of course everything is built custom to you, right? So when it comes to going deeper than that, it's like, okay, what is your business? What are and then we go from there. With the AI side of it, I mean, a technical answer, and I'm trying to make it a little bit, but like technically, within Go high level, again, there's the master campaigns, which are the automated messages. There's a master document, which is a control document or like a glorified FAQ. That's what the AI will pull its answers from, kind of like as if a prompt book, right? A book of prompts, basically, for everything around your business. And we do two things. We tell ChatGPT, if you can't find the answer in one of these documents, don't answer the question. Kick back to us, needs attention. Yep. That's first and foremost.
Limit.
First and foremost, because even then we like, don't go to the internet and find the answer. Don't do that. Even then, ChatGPT, it can't help itself. Sometimes it'll go pull stuff out of the clouds or the stars or make something up. So that's the first thing we do. Another thing we do is we call it no data, right? So we would put a no data tag. If anybody mentions anything about death, if anybody asks for you to reach out more than 30 or 60 days in advance, or if anybody asks, you know, the AI is great, right? It can answer 1-2 part questions. It can answer, but like if anybody, you know, asks kind of certain, I don't want to say crazy or like extended, like a 3-part question, it's going to most likely kick that back to you, even though it can, and in some cases will do that. Because there's all kind of things where, you know, you could fill out the form. You're going to get the text message from us. It's going to say, hey, Joe, thanks for, you know, filling out the form. Would love to get you on a call. How does, you know, tomorrow at 2 or 7 p.m. work? And this is an example that we used to see a lot in the early days. And it would say, oh yeah, definitely. You know, right now is not a good time. You know, my grandpa passed away. We got the funeral on Sunday. Can you get me next week? And it's kind of like that, yeah, no, positive, negative. It used to be really bad at, you know how when you're saying no, but you're being polite and you say yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, but no, actually, my grandpa just passed away. The funeral's on Sunday. Can you call me next Thursday? And the AI will see yeah, and it'll be like, great, see you at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And it's like, no, what kind of robot are you? I just told you my grandpa died. You know what I mean? And weird stuff like that happen. It's not so weird. It happens all the time. So certain things we push back as no data, and then there's the master document where we keep boundaries on it, you know? Yeah. So again, I think that a little bit, hopefully that helps on your, you know, like you say, compliance answer.
No,